Hello，欢迎大家到这个 Mobile and Web 的这个 track。今天我会负责介绍讲师但是我的中文不是很好，所以会掺杂很多英文，麻烦体谅一下。我们第一位讲师是 Preston Lau。Preston Lau is a Senior Director of Strategy and Business Development at Futury Technologies. He is leading strategies for open source initiatives in support of the company growth in new areas and markets. Earlier in his career, Preston worked for Google, where he led Google's strategic partnership development with renowned telecom operators and mobile manufacturers. So let's welcome Mr. Preston Lau.
Thank you. Good morning. It's actually very excited to be here in China. Last time I was in China was 4.5 years ago. So I'm really excited to see all the people and all the interaction. Actually, a fun story when I checked in my hotel a couple of days ago in Beijing, Grand Hyatt, they actually welcome back to Grand Hyatt. And based on our records, you were actually here 2012. So that was 11 years ago. So before I proceed to the presentation, let me ask a question. Do you want to hear my presentation in Mandarin Chinese? 你们想我用中文讲 or in English? So question, okay, first question, answer, I need some answers. 你们想我用中文讲的请举手 Okay. Anybody really want me to present in English? Please raise your hand. Okay, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I don't know what to do. It's half and half. What should I do? What I would do is maybe I'll use both in my slides. Maybe I'll take a little bit more longer time, but then hopefully all the audience will be able to understand what I'm saying. So 我可能一般讲，可能希望可以用最短的时间给大家介绍整个我们这个开源项目。因为我刚才介绍到我是在谷歌还有高通也工作过，那我是在硅谷工作，其实在1998年已经去了硅谷了。所以在硅谷的好处呢是很多高科技公司基本上都在硅谷，所以我们经常都有一些活动跟他们有面对面的去交谈，也跟他们去交流之后呢，发现呢其实他们对整个移动生态有不少的问题，还有在移动生态上面呢，其实他们也给我们很多的一些 inspiration， 还有建议。所以我们其实在整个全球的一个发展呢，我们发现呢，It's actually the wrong slide. Okay, this is the right time. I should also talk about English. So I stay in Silicon Valley, and I was there like 1998. And one of the big advantages in Silicon Valley is I got a chance to talk to all the tech companies in that area, in the proximity of Silicon Valley. We have a lot of great discussion, and we have a lot of inspiration from them. And that's actually how we came up of this open source project called Open Mobile Hub. That's basically how we want to introduce this project to you. So looking at the global evolution of this market, and I think you all probably heard about the EU DMA. There was a lot of news early this month talking about these 6 companies, Google, Amazon, Apple, ByteDance, Meta, and Microsoft, and they are the gatekeeper. And gatekeeper meaning they are one of the leading provider for some of these services, advertising, operating systems, browser, search, for example. And being a gatekeeper, they have obligations. So what they actually wanted to accomplish is by having this regulation, making sure that they're opening up the platform, they're allowing these other companies to access their user and not preferring their own services. So it's kind of more neutral platform. And eventually, the main goal for this regulation from EU DMA is actually to give end user more choices. So that's the kind of the ultimate objective. And in the bottom right part is actually Department of Commerce from the US. They also write a very comprehensive white paper early this year talking about how unhealthy the mobile ecosystem is between Apple and Google, Android. and basically very limiting choices, and actually end user want more choices and more control of their device, and also want to actually have a way to load their apps on the device without going through the App Store. 所以我们在欧洲那边呢，其实发现呢，那6家公司，他们叫 gatekeeper， 那几家公司呢，其实在这个不同的领域啊，就是说操作系统、它的广告还有搜索，都占了一个很大的一个市场份额。所以对他们来说呢，其实因为他们已经接触了很多的用户，他们的那个欧盟那边的那个 DMA 法案呢，希望他们把他的平台公开，最终目的是希望用户有更多的选择权利，就是说不同的平台上面呢，也可以接触到不同的服务。所以呢，我们在美国其实也看到，在美国年初的时候呢，美国那个商务部也发布了一份那个非常详细的报告，说到就是苹果跟谷歌的这个操作系统呢，其实非常不健康，因为没有给用户很多的选择，用户呢对他手机上面的控制权呢非常非常少，所以呢他也希望整个市场来改革，希望呢有更多的竞争性，有更多的公司、更多的服务可以提供给用户。所以谷歌其实在过去那几个月呢，也相对的做了很大的改动。在印度他们已经被告了，已经罚了很多钱，好几百个 million。之后呢，后面希望谷歌也上诉了，后来也败诉了，所以他必须要照这个罚款。另外呢，他针对在移动生态上面呢，在印度上面呢去做了一些改变。第一，它那些谷歌那个全家桶很多一些应用呢，它不需要它打包放在那些手机上面，可以用那些手机厂商自由的选择一个、2个、3个不同应用。第二，他们让他去选用户开机重启的第一次开机的时候呢，让用户去选择他的搜索引擎到底什么，到底他想谷歌或者 Bing 或者 DuckDuckGo 这些其他的服务。第3个是那个非常重要。它容许那些在印度的公司呢，它可以做一个跟 AOSP 谷歌 AOSP 安卓兼容的一个操作系统。以前谷歌是禁止的，那现在呢，他说你可以做一个兼容的也没有问题。那最后一点呢，这个也非常重要，就收费。谷歌这些应用开发商，它基本上必须要用Google Pay。那基本上现在最新的一些发展呢，就是说，你可以在谷歌以外。用另外的一个收费渠道，也可以通过那个 User Choice Billing 那个架构呢去收费。相对来说呢，最后那个开发者给谷歌的那个分成的费用呢会减低4%。So Google in India actually have a lot of changes the last couple of months. First of all, they allow the OEM to choose the apps they like to preload on their devices. They are not forcing them to take basically everything, which was in the past, but now they can pick and choose. And second, they also allow the user, when they first set up the device, allow them to choose which default search engine they like. Is it Google, or is it Bing search, or is it DuckDuckGo? It's actually based on user choice. Very similar to Europe. Third one, they allow them to have a fork of AOSP. Compatible with Android. In the past, they have a very specific agreement called AAC, which basically not allowing them to do that, but now they said it's okay. And number 4 is also very important, user choice billing. They allow them to basically have alternative billing systems other than Google Pay to basically let the user to choose which one they like and then pay them. They have some user guidelines on the right. In the middle is actually a trial system. They actually work together with Spotify to launch. So these are all kind of healthy development heading in the right direction. So looking at all the consumer-facing applications, there's actually a lot of issues they're facing. So inconsistencies in terms of different devices. Some devices actually have GMS. Some devices does not have GMS. And when the device doesn't have GMS, the app actually have issues, like have a pop-up saying there's a missing Google Play library. When the user trying to access some documents on Google Drive, it failed because the GMS library is not there, and also the IAP. So these are the kind of common user experience issues that these developers face. And our open source project, Open Mobile Hub, is actually going to be solving these issues. 所以这4个可能比较普遍，就是说那些开发者开发完这个应用之后呢，面对用户，他可能碰到很多不同手机上面的功能上面的一些不同的差异了，变成对用户体验非常受影响。那第一个就是说，它会可能弹框，如果说支持那个谷歌没有 GMS Core 那个 library 的话呢，它会有一个弹框，基本上做不了这个功能。或者是那个应用比如说 Adobe 的应用，它想去拿到它那个 Google Drive 上面的一些 PDF 的文件，它也拿不了，因为它上面没有 GMS 的 library。所以呢，这些都是一些比较多我们的合作伙伴看到的一些问题。那我们做的这个开源项目叫 Open Mobile Hub， 基本上就会解决这些问题。那后面呢，我们怎么去计划呢？就我们问了很多那些开发者，就跟他们说，你们用的最多的功能是哪些？那右边那个图呢，基本上就看到我们叫 heat map， 就说一些功能上面到底谁用的最多。第一个可能是login authentication，push notification storage。还有一些map 的地图等等，这些都是比较多用户那些开发者使用的。那这些可能只是我们第1期、第2期我们主力发展的一些功能。So this is the heat map when we talk to all the app developer, ask them which services they actually use the most on GMS services. They basically told us based on this heat map analysis, we analyzed that authentication is the most popular, storage, push notification, and also map location. These are kind of the top services. So these are the functions that we will implement in OMH, in the open source project first, because these are the most common ones that developers use. So what is OMH? So this is an open source project we started early this year. We are main focus on open source. Obviously, this is why we are all here in GOSIM. Is actually to support the entire open source ecosystems. Allowing developer to write once and able to run the apps on multiple platforms. And also, I think the most important part is plugin architecture, meaning developer can basically extend the functionality of OMH. In addition to supporting Google Maps, for example, they can also support other map services like Bing Maps or Mapbox, for example, or LinkedIn login authentication, Twitter or X login authentication. So these are all easily extended using the plugin architecture. And the phase 1 functions, these are the 3 functions I mentioned earlier, login authentication, share location, cloud storage. And we also have plans to add mobile advertising in phase 2.0. We also will be supporting a JavaScript framework like React Native, Ionic, for example, and they're able to support an Apple platform. And then eventually also adding additional functions like IAP, push notification, and also the Flutter architecture, which is gaining popularity recently. And also at the end, on the right side, also supporting Harmony OS next, which is also based on the Arc UI. 所以这个是我们准备的这个 Open Mobile Hub OMH 开源项目的一些重点，就是说，第一，整个项目都是开源，所有源码我们开发的都会放在 GitHub 上面。那第二点就是说，开发者用 OMH 开发完之后呢，它的这个源码基本上开发一次，可以在多平台上面都可以运行。那最后一点呢，看到就是说，我们有一个叫 Plugin Architecture， 就除了我们开发一些最基本的一些谷歌的功能之外呢，我们也会在开源社区。通过开源社区这些开发者的一些贡献呢，我们也会支持到，比如说微软login， 还有其他地图的服务 ，Bing Map Mapbox 等等。那第一期呢，我们已经开发完成，已经开放到那个 GitHub 的社区了，是 login authentication 地图还有 storage。那后面呢，我们会有移动广告，还有一些我们那个 JavaScript 的那个 framework， 包括React Native、Ionic、Native Script 等等，也支持苹果的平台。那后续呢，我们也会有 IAP， 还有push notification， 还有最近比较 popular 的那个叫 Flutter 的那个支持。那最右边呢，就看到鸿蒙系统，我们这个UI 也会可以支持。所以这个再总结一下，就是说我们第一期主要是在那个安卓那个 Kotlin 上面，后面呢 React Native、Ionic、Native Script， 还有 iOS、Flutter、Arc UI。这个都后续在 2.0、2.5 到 3.0 的版本，我们都会支持。那最终呢，在那个手机的生态系统上面呢，安卓、鸿蒙还有苹果的 iOS， 我们都可以跨平台的，很方便，让开发者开发一次都可以在3个平台上面运行。 So this is basically the high-level view of what our plans are in terms of roadmap and functionality support. So initially now with mainly Kotlin support in 1.0, but we will be adding React Native Ionic and Native Script in 2.0, and also iOS, and then 2.5 adding Flutter, and 3.0 adding ArcUI, Harmony OS platform. So basically, eventually, all these most popular mobile platforms, Android, Harmony OS Next, and also iOS, we will be also able to support. So developer can write once and then able to support all these platforms. And then also eventually, that's basically the key part of this whole open source project. It's actually, if you look at the right side, device agnostic, platform agnostic, and framework agnostic, and also plugin architecture. So basically, these are the 4 key points of this open mobile hub project. And you can see eventually, this is our future objective is to basically support all types of devices. No matter it's a smartphone, which is our first focus, but we'll be expanding to other smart watches, tablets, and also car, for example, auto and TV. 所以我们最终呢，其实希望支持到这4点最重要的 device agnostic。平台还有 framework agnostic， 最后有 plugin architecture， 所以上面看到了我们最重要现在 focus 的那个主力了，主要是在手机上面。那后面呢，我们会支持手表、TV， 还有车机，还有平板等等的不同的设备。所以我们在网上已经有那个网页版，所有的文件 documentation， 还有一些sample code， 我们都在那个website。openmobilehub.com， 所以欢迎大家如果有时间的话可以去看一下。And also all the source code we also publish on GitHub. This is the link, github.com/openmobilehub. So yeah, so all the demo sample code you can actually just compile it, and then you can actually test out this functionality, and all the documentation, getting started guide, everything is on the website on GitHub. So I think one thing very important also is we have been working very closely with Linux Foundation. They have been very supportive, and we actually also commonly view some of these issues, as I mentioned, in the mobile ecosystems. All the challenges, all the issues, and also proposing some of the possible solutions to solve that. So they actually interview 15 experts in these industries in 6 countries, and then wrote this white paper, about 32 pages, to basically outline all the issues and outline some possible solutions. Of course, Open Mobile Hub is one of the possible solutions they outlined in the white paper. And the white paper just published today. So if you're interested, please contact me. I'll send you the link. It's actually on the Linux Foundation website. You can download it. You can go through the entire document about all the option solutions. And one of the solutions I want to highlight is to encourage all the developers to work together. So if all the developers work together and able to support each other to drive a more open standards and open interface, and basically giving more choices to the consumer, that will be a win-win situation. So I think that's one of the things that highlighted in this paper. And we're also working very closely with Open World Foundation. Wenjing here, he will be presenting also later and talk a lot about this as well. So we also have IAP support, as I mentioned later, and that is going to be also eventually offering support for the Open World Foundation. And there's another interesting foundation actually formed end of last year is the Overture Map Foundation. So that is an interesting foundation. It's actually formed by Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, and TomTom. So these 4 companies are forming all their asset resources together to drive open standard map solutions. As you can probably guess why they're doing this, because I think they're facing the pressure from Google. Google Map is so popular and it's so actually well done out there. So they are actually looking at how they can leverage open source, open interface to develop a much better map solutions with a better reference systems, or better quality assurance control, and also structured data schema. And the first global data set already published last month by Overture Map. 所以我们在这些 foundation 跟他们合作，其实已经合作了很多个月，也在刚刚今天也发布了这个白皮书。 那这个白皮书的内容是什么呢？就是说我们他们访问了大概15个专家，在这方面的一个移动生态的专家，从6个不同的国家，之后呢，把他们一些意见建议，把他们的一些对市场的看法，写在这个白皮书上面。这个白皮书呢有中文版，也有英文版，所以欢迎大家会后可以联系我，我可以把他们那个联防的这个 paper 发给大家。上面呢当然会提到Open Mobile Hub 这个开源社区的一个项目了，也可以解决这些问题。另外呢，他也提到，就开发者希望他们也可以大家在一起共同合作，去推动一些更公开、更标准的一些方向，让开发者更容易的去支持一个共同的生态。这个是那个白皮书的一个最近的一些发展。另外呢，刚才提到 Open Water Foundation 这一块呢，我们也是将来在 IEP 这一块呢，也希望支持。另外呢，就是 Overture Map。这个地图呢，也是去年年底的时候呢，一个全新的一个组织，就是 Meta、亚马逊、微软还有 TomTom 4家公司合作起来，去开发一个全新的一个地图系统。这个可能大家能想到，可能是跟谷歌有一些关系，因为谷歌在全球那个地图做得非常非常好，所以呢，他们也希望这4家公司投入一些资源，把他们全球的一些地图信息，还有公开的一个global reference system， 还有它那个回复的质量，再加上它那个 data schema， 这些都把它放在那个开源社区上面，希望大家共同去努力。做一个更好的一个地图系统，所以我们 OMH 这个开源社区这个项目呢，基本上也会在未来也可以支持这个 Overture Map。那刚才提到这个白皮书，这点我不再细讲了。这个白皮书是32页，大家如果真的有兴趣的话呢，也可以给我们多一些建议。好，基本上讲到这里。Thank you so much. That's basically all I have. And welcome. I think. What I would like to say is Diego is here sitting in front and Raul, and they are also part of the OMH team. So if you have time during the break, please come talk to us. We are looking for supporter and contributor to this project. We're looking for your support. If you have apps that you actually want to integrate with OMH, please talk to us because we already successfully integrated with Signal and WordPress and some of the apps, solving their UX problems. And they're very happy with that. So we're looking for more developers to help with this. 所以最后呢，我再讲一下Diego 跟 Raul 坐在前面，他们也是 OMH 这个团队。就我们呢，也在找一些更多的开源社区的支持者。如果大家有兴趣支持我们 Mobile Hub 的项目的话呢，也欢迎你们跟我们联系。还有，如果你们有一些针对移动的一些手机应用有兴趣跟 OMH 做整合的话呢，也欢迎你们去使用 OMH 去解决一些手机上面生态的上面这一些不同的差异化。也希望呢可以帮助到你们去统一整个那个开发的一个流程。好，Do we have time for Q&A? OK， 欢迎大家有什么问题可以随时发问。好。
Hello, this is Kai from String University. So my question is, in your ecosystem, you mostly consider, for example, Android and iOS. But in China, actually, for example, there are also like platforms such as Tencent, WeChat, and also the Alipay from Alibaba. And mainly, they have the platform called, for example, mini apps. And do you consider mini apps as part of the ecosystem? And for example, what plans do you have for those platforms?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We are considering mini app is a layer above our framework. So all those developers, they can actually make use of OMH project to basically make it easier to be cross-platform. So we are not directly developing any mini apps, but we are actually developing the framework to support a lot of those applications. So I hope that answers your question. Is there any more questions? Okay, thank you.